Hi guys. We are going to be doing our next layer for our baby Evangeline, who, as you know, will be our giveaway baby. And the way you win Evangeline is by liking and sharing and subscribing here, Instagram and Facebook. Hi! When you like and subscribe any of those or share any of those, I will put your name into the drawing. So every time you do one is another chance that your name is entered to win. And when we are finished painting her, we will be my Instagram is Beyond the Veil Oddities. I believe there's a link to it on my Facebook, which is also Beyond the Veil Oddities. So you'll have multiple chances to win, and we'll have a great big cauldron of names, and we'll draw one out live once we're finished painting her. Again, I've had a few people ask when I'm going to do the drawing. It will be when she is completely finished. So it's going to be a few weeks, but you get to watch step by step as I do every single layer. Couple things that I'm going to bring up. Last week when I was doing the video, I talked about prep procedure, and I think I brought up hands down pads. If not, I'll bring them up now. They are a round cotton pad that is really great for kit prep, rubbing the alcohol on the kit. And this is what they are. Aw, thank you, Andy. This is a hands down pad. It's a round cotton pad. I had these when I used to have my salon. The really cool thing about them is the back is plastic and it has a little handle. So you can rub down, sure, a shout out is fine. And you can rub your kit with the alcohol and it protects your fingers. It also works for like stripping a kit. You can use them. I like I said, I had them in my salon and I loved them, and I really think they're a great idea. I don't get anything from Hands Down, so it's not like I'm trying to sell for them, but it is, you can get a nice size pack of them for just a few dollars at Sally's, so they're not very expensive. I think I got like a giant pack for like $10, and it's like big. So anyway, that's just a little tip that I have. So today I'm going to do, we're still working on those subcutaneous layers. Hey, if you need an artist, I'm always around too, or I can help you paint yours through the videos. Both are great. Hi, Dawn. I build up my subcutaneous layers before I ever start the outer skin. I believe I talked about that last week. So it's quite a few layers until we get to actual skin. Today we're going to do a really pretty blue layer. Let me find my paint. I am also sorry, I forgot to set up my backdrop. Hi, Ann. So you're actually seeing my studio. Usually I move that backdrop over here and I have better lighting, and in my rush and excitement to get to you guys, totally forgot to do that. So you are seeing my studio. Yay. This is my art studio. You can see I have bookshelves and bookshelves full of kits. And you don't see the dogs that are laying on the floor, but every once in a while they go crazy. If that happens, I apologize profusely. I have 5 dogs, and I do animal rescue, so all all of them have issues that I have worked on them with. Things happen. This is real life. I don't, get all gussied up for y'all and everything else. I'm in my pajamas, just like half of you probably are. So we're going to start off with our half a tablespoon of Mona Lisa. Measure that into your paint tray. I am going to use Phthalo Blue 07. It's a nice kind of sky blue color. Let's see if I can get, there you go, that you can see. And we're going to use 2 brushes of it. Again, a brush is 1 swipe on each side. I just have seen that's a good way to measure it out. Everybody can get an idea of exactly how much. I don't like scoop the paint out, I just brush it across. And the brush that I am using is a 1/2 inch oval mop. Mine is by Baby Strokes. I got my brushes on Dolls by Sandy. Again, I have no connection to Dolls by Sandy. I don't get anything for saying that. It's just I like these brushes. Also, if I miss a comment, it's because I look down, and I still haven't figured out how YouTube does their live commenting. Like, they won't stay. They disappear, and then I can't see what people are saying. I keep wanting to mess around and figure it out. Hi, Val. And try and see how I can see comments. But so far, I'm doing pretty good. It's a good day. I've got a lot accomplished so far. The weather is decent. It's slightly overcast, but probably, in the 60s. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't got a thermometer on me, but pretty nice out. So the doors and the windows are open. Dogs are sleeping. I've already vacuumed and cleaned and did laundry and did bills, so I'm good to go. What we're going to do with this, we're actually going to do 2 things with this blue. Oh, real quick, I'm going to show you. Look at this beauty I'm working on right now. I am totes in love. This is going to be Native American Levi. This is a first edition Levi from my personal collection, and I am just in love with that skin tone. Levi's head doesn't want to stay standing. Okay, stay up there. Anyway, we're going to take a Torn Cosmetic Wedge. We're also going to be using our 1-inch mop brush. Again, Baby Strokes is this one, but there are other brands. I have one that is a Maxine. I like them equally. It's just in general, Baby Strokes are the brushes that I prefer. So we are going to, with this step, keep our paint mixed well, and this is what the paint looks like when we have it mixed. It's a nice kind of sky blue, robin's egg blue, and you can see it's pretty translucent on the bottom. We want the consistency of almost like maybe skim milk. Not water, it's a little thicker than water. We're going to put this on our brush, and I'm going to put this in the thinner skin areas. So on the tummy plate, I'm just going to right kind of at the rib cage a little bit, and just around the navel stump, and then blend it well with my mop. You want to really feather out the ends so it doesn't look like you just drew a V on your kit. And it should just be barely there. I'm going to hold it up and hopefully you can see it, but it's not extremely prominent. It's just going to give a shadow of a blue tone. So that, I was trying to see if I could see, I think I figured it out. Somebody say something. I think I figured out my comment thing. I just saw a little button. Oh no, they disappeared. Bummer. I was so excited for a second. Oy. Why can't they make this easier for me? I don't know. Anyway, a little bit in that V right here. They're disappearing again. It's so frustrating. And a little bit just kind of around the navel. On the head, Laura makes such beautiful, beautiful soft spots. So I'm going to use my brush and do just inside that little diamond. And then use my mop brush to feather out the edges. I think Laura's kits are so beautiful. The way she sculpts them, that a lot of the time I don't even want hair on my personal ones because I love the way she sculpts them. I'm going to pull out another brush. I'm going to use, this is a 1/4 inch oval mop. It's smaller, and I'm going to use that just to get into the cracks. I want to do on the inside of where the eye tear duct is, sort of, on both eyes. Again, you don't want it to be real dark. We're not trying to make Uncle Fester here. We just want to give a slight blue tint to the skin. And we're going to do around the nose in this area. I'm using my brush, my small brush here, simply because these areas are small and I don't want big gloss, you know, like this, I can't get into that area. So using my brush to get that. I'm also going to do right here a little bit, the corners of the mouth, and in the crease here at the crease in her chin. And then take my mop brush and again feather that out. Pounce it. You can pounce. That works well. You can slightly rub to pull a little bit out and feather it. It really depends on where it's at, on what I'm doing. Like in the crease, I tend to pounce. Here, I feather a little bit on the edge. It's looking really cute. I'm also going to put just a little bit in the dimple, because when I'm looking for depth as I go, this blue is going to add a really good depth. Hi, Sonia. Oh, I know. It's so exciting for me every time, and I try to hold my horses and not rush. Like, my instinct is to stay up the entire 48 hours and get them all painted. In the ear, I'm going to do right in between in that little Y area and down below. I don't want to get it on like the gristly parts. I'm doing the deep areas. Now, we do not want crunchy ears, so pounce them pretty well. That looks good. I'm going to use my sponge to do just a little bit in front of the ear, kind of in a V shape coming out. You can see that. And then I take my mop, and this I'm definitely going to feather, because I want to make sure I have a nice smooth transition and I don't have a blue line. I'm going to do right here with it. And again, smooth it very nicely. Gentle, gentle. We want a very distinct. Now she has, I don't know if you, she does, this sculpt, well, all of Laura's sculpts. I don't know if you can see it well, but there's kind of a little bit of a dip here. I'm also going to use my sponge and go into that dip. And again, I'm going in a V shape right along the dip. And I'm going to feather that out. I have decided what I'm going to do Thursday. I didn't do last Thursday's because I had some issues. Again, I take care of my mother-in-law, and sometimes her dementia gets in the way. See, I'm hoping you can see that slight tint of blue. It's definitely not like a blue blob. And then I'm going to do the other ear the same way, down into the crevices, keeping it off of the bristly parts. Oh, good. Thanks, Sonia. And if it happens to smudge over onto an area where you don't want it on the gristle, you can take your Q-tip and clean up and make sure you got a nice clean gristle, because we don't want that gristle to look green later. Again, to my sponge, and I'm going to do the area right in front of the ear. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to go ahead and do this area right behind the ear. Again, V shapes, and feather them out. So you have a nice soft transition. The little dip on this side of her head, a nice V shape. That's before I feather it. And then go around those edges. Perfect. Now she has another little divot here and here, so I'm going to make sure that I get in those spots. I don't think I can get it with my sponge, so do it with my brush. And you can, if you get a little too much on, you can pounce it. There we go. And then her head is good. We already did the torso. On the legs, I do, with my smaller brush, I just do along the upper part of the crease, the whole way, right in that leg crease. Not in the crease itself, right above it. And then I feather that out. That is a pulse point and a place where there will be a lot of blood flow, a lot of depth, so we want to get some in there. Go back to my sponge, and I'm going to do just the inside of the arch on her feet. And these feet are just so beautifully sculpted. Again, I love, love, love Laura's sculpts for their little details. I'm also gonna do just under her inside ankle in kind of a V shape and blend that down. I like my V shapes. And that looks good for this leg. One thing I want to bring up on here, I almost forgot. I have a baby for sale. I did not paint her, but the wonderful Sherry Zegra did. She's really not shiny, but I have bright lights so you can see me. She has good details, beautifully rooted hair. I do have her COA. She does, I have her as a cloth body, but she does have the full body that I can put on if that's what you want. Um, I am selling her for 200, which is a great deal because this is an expensive kit. Um, I traded with someone and she was what I got. This is Sophia Grace, and she is number 297 out of 700. She does have a full torso. I just personally prefer the cloth body, and she was painted by Sherry Zegra. So if you're interested in her, pop me a message. My husband's car, he's a mailman, and his car broke down yesterday on his route, and therefore I need kit money because he took all my kit money. Just kidding, it's mechanic bills. So I'm going to do the same thing on the arm, not into the crease, just slightly above the crease, and pounce it so it's well blended. I'm also going to do right at her underarm in kind of a V shape. This will be very subtle, but it really makes a difference in realism. I'm going to do right here in the wrist in a V shape. Use my brush for that because the sponge is just a little too big. And I'm going to go in the palm. Now, here's another one of Shelly's pet peeves. In the palm of the hand, I see a lot of people that it just looks like a horrible blue blob. That's yucky. When I look at my hands, it's not a horrible blue blob unless I've just done blue hair dye on myself. You want to really make it subtle, very light. If you can see it with the bare eye and it looks blue, then that's going to be too dark as you put your layers on. You want it to just have a very light hint of depth. That's all we're going for. I'm also going to do one little bit on the top of her hand. And again, this is super subtle, so it's not going to look like I've painted blue paint on there. But it will come out later. You'll see it makes a big difference. The other hand, I'm going to do the same thing. Oh, there. I'm like, where did my little brush go? I'm going to go right above her elbow crease. Pounce it well, feather the ends. I'm going to go right at her underarm, blend it well. Here I'm going to go into her palm with my little brush. Be careful not to get any on her fingernails or fingertips. Want to be very careful. Blend well. A little bit on her wrist. We don't want Smurf babies. I mean, maybe you do. Maybe that's what you're going for. If you're going for a Smurf baby, then have at it. But I'm going for a human, realistic baby. So I want it to be very subtle. I just finished this little guy. I'm getting ready to put him together. Look how cute he is. It's Harry Potter. Yay. He's a custom order for Canada. So he's getting ready to be shipped off way far away. This arch the same way, just the inside of the arch. This is before I blend, so you can see a little bit of blue, but once I pounce and blend it, you're not going to really see that. It's just going to be a hint, almost like a shadow. Hopefully you can see that. And then again at the knee crease, the same thing. And the ankle. So we just are adding a little bit of undertone, little bit of shadow effect that we're going to build upon as we go. Next week we'll do yeah, I'm making sure I got all the pieces. I'm pretty sure I did. Next week, we're going to do another undertone layer, and then we'll start building up the sub-Q areas. Does anybody have any questions, comments, anything? I'm looking at the screen now, so I won't miss them. I generally do about 20 layers. That doesn't necessarily mean this will be 20 weeks of going, because sometimes I can do one layer on top of the other. It's when I'm drastically changing colors that I can't do that. So today I'm using blue. Next week I probably will do like a yellow or a yellow orange. And if I go right on top of that blue, it's going to muddy up, and we don't want to do that. One optional thing you can do, in addition to this, on this step, if you want, I actually may do that, just to give me a head start, if I can find it. Find my... go. I'm going to use this sponge, make sure that you can do a really light model, but if you're going to do that, add just a few more drops of thinner so it's slightly lighter. And you can do this without baking from the soft spot, because, or the shadowing, because we aren't going to rub any on her. Like, if you're gonna rub, then you're gonna take off what we just did. But start at the nape in case it's darker than you want it. And you can just lightly touch the kit. Again, just super lightly touch. And if you feel that it came out slightly too dark as you go, you can gently take your mop brush and pounce it a little bit. I like the way it looks, so I'm not going to do that. We'll get over the ear. The brush, I plucked this brush out. I'm going to hold it up here so you can see. It's a very interesting pattern to me. So it's not, you don't have to always pluck out like holes. You can pluck out different designs in your sponge. Now this color I'm not going to take onto her cheeks or her nose. So I go right up to the edge of her cheek and stop. Spin her around and do the other side. Right up to the edge of the cheek. And do under her chin. I just don't want to pull too much blue into her face and get like a frostbitten look. You want to kind of try and touch it behind the ears. And you can do this all over your kit. I personally, like I said, am skipping the cheeks, the nose, the lips, and I probably will not do like the toes or anything like that. When this flashes off, it'll be barely visible, but it will leave a very slight, like I said, almost a shadow. So in the background, as we build the layers, it will give us an interesting pattern back there, like blood flow. I don't know if you want to watch me model the entire kit or if you're ready to go. If you want me to keep going and watch the whole thing, just comment and tell me. Otherwise, I will I'm seeing, I can make it bring up, I can do either one. I can root her or paint her hair or leave her bald. That will be up to the winner. If I root her, it'll be really light rooting, not a full thick head of hair. So Sonia, you want me to keep going? Anybody else? I don't know how long this video. Well, it's already been 30 minutes, so I might should end it soon. I don't know. Is there a time limit for live videos? Keep going. Okay. Y'all are a glutton for punishment. I love ya. Okay. Same deal. Whoops, I held up her girl parts. If it offends you, sorry. I'm going to start right around the navel with this. That way the darkest part of it is there. If baby doll, girl, little bit offends you, I'm sorry. You know, whoopsies. Everybody's saying keep going, so thank you guys. I'm glad that you are enjoying yourself. One thing to make sure is that you turn your sponge so you're not getting, especially if you're using a wonky pattern, because you can get just like zigzag look if you or it starts to look unnatural because you're seeing a repetitive design, where if you randomly turn it, it helps to keep it from getting that look. You can see, hopefully this is super light. Once it flashes off, hopefully by the time I'm finished with the kit, the head will at least be flashed off, and you'll see that you can barely, wow, 3 hours. I will not be able to do that. And the main reason is because eventually my mother-in-law, who has dementia, she will come bursting in here. And she may not be dressed. So definitely can't do that. Guess who's internet famous suddenly? Maybe we should do that. No, I'm just kidding. Just joking. Lightly touch the soles of the feet. Again, this is a real light touch. You don't want, and here, there's just a speck too much. Oh, you've done home health care. I have not until now, and I was not prepared. And my husband and my children are still up in Pennsylvania, and I'm down in South Carolina. I've been here a year this month, and it can be very interesting sometimes. If you get a touch too much anywhere, you can use your Q-tip and just dab it, or you can use your brush and pounce it. You can use the other side of your cosmetic wedge and just dab it, either way. Yeah, that's a challenge to worry about when you first start. My recommendation is to get a kit on Bountiful Baby on sale. Sometimes you can get them, you know, for like $10 or $20. Or if you don't want to do the whole baby, buy a test limb. Now, the problem with Bountiful Baby and getting a test limb, test limbs are super inexpensive. You can buy them, I don't know, maybe $3. And they're great. But Bountiful Baby is going to charge you $8 just to ship it to you. So right there almost became the price of one of their kits on sale. But I know Dolls by Sandy has test limbs. McPherson's has test limbs. I'm sure a lot of the other reputable sites have test limbs also. And you can go through the steps on a test limb and see how you like the turnout of it. practice different methods. This is just my method. It doesn't mean that I'm, you know, the know-all, end-all. I make cute babies. A lot of people like my babies. They enjoy having my babies. So I'm doing okay. I'm figured, you know, might as well help out newbies. I've been teaching for about a year now. Um, but test limbs are amazing. I don't like to test out my theories or guess on a kit. So grab a test limb and you can try it all out, and then you're only spending a couple dollars. Assuming, like I said, that you get it from someplace other than Bountiful Baby. I mean, if you're getting a kit and you're getting other things, Bountiful Baby is great for beginners to start out because they do run sales all the time, literally all the time. Don't feel like you have to hurry up and get a kit while it's on sale. They're constantly having all different kits on sale. Even if the one that you had your eye on isn't on sale right at the moment, or it was and then it disappeared, they'll bring it back. Let me see. I'm trying to see what I just missed. Bountiful Baby, the test limbs are $1.99. Yeah, so $1.99 a piece versus, oh, please stop. Why is it, I have to keep touching so I can see them. What is the difference between the order kit and the other limbs that they sell cheap? The kits themselves are basically like a head, arms, legs, and a test limb is literally just, I can show you some of my test limbs. It's literally just an arm or a leg. If you get lucky every once in a while, you can get a head, but they sell out in seconds. So, but let's see here. This is one of my test limbs that I ordered from Bountiful Baby. And you can see it looks pretty much like any other kit. It probably has a flaw somewhere in it. This is Aspen's arm. There's like a dip in the arm right here. Maybe that's a boo-boo. Maybe the vinyl somewhere is not as thick as a regular one, although this feels like it is. Sometimes they'll have a little speck on them, something like that, which I'm not really seeing. So who knows? It may be that that's chewed up. I don't know. But it's the same vinyl. It's actually different limbs from their kits. And you can just practice on it. Also, I've gotten them from McPherson's. This is I think this is another Bountiful Baby one, but I could be wrong. This I know is a McPherson one's because the vinyl is pinky. But I think on this one maybe the toes are messed up because the toes are a little funny. But the vinyl's the same. Not a huge difference. It's just you're buying an arm or a leg and you don't really designate which. And it just, I'm checking messages again. Okay, I'm caught up on messages. I can see them for like 3 seconds and then poof, they're gone. YouTube, if you're listening. FBI, if you're listening. Someone fix it so the comments stay on live videos on YouTube. This is a first world problem that needs addressed right now. How much are they on McPherson's? Goodness, it's been a while since I ordered them. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think that it is way more expensive than BB. I've gotten some from Dolls by Sandy also. Who else are like there's so many suppliers. Most of them you can get Teslins or from, I mean. So you can check around. That would be my recommendation if you're on a shoestring budget and you're not sure about any of it. Buy a Teslim or two, try out different things, and see how it goes. Sonia, somebody just messaged me and said they can't figure out how to comment on the YouTube videos. Can you quickly explain how in a comment? Maybe they can see it, or if not, we'll just have to figure it out for her for next week. I don't know how you guys comment. I'm sorry that I don't know. I know how I'm like recording. I don't know how to see comments for more than 3 seconds. So I'm the wrong person to ask. I know last week a few people didn't know how to get into comments. I'm not sure if that is the same way this week or not. Sonia figured out how. I think there is like a inter chat or inter live video or inter chat every Tuesday approximately this time. I don't choose an exact time because I never know what's going to happen. Doctor's appointments, vet appointments, anything like that. But sometime probably between like 10 a.m. and maybe 4 p.m., somewhere around there. In that general, I'm like the Time Warner people. It says chat publicly and your name, and you click it, Sonia said. Anyway, I'm like the Time Warner people when you want them to come out to your house and they're like, we'll be there Tuesday between 8 a.m. and midnight. Okay, thanks, sir. That's how I am with my live video. Not quite that bad, but you get it. You understand what I'm saying, hopefully, that my life is insanely crazy, and I do my YouTube around that. Tuesdays, and I will be doing videos on Thursdays, but they are going to be a little different than what I'm doing on Tuesdays. Tuesdays I'm painting Evangeline with you, and I might occasionally paint her on Thursdays, but really Thursdays my focus is going to be on little tips and tricks that I found out, and like a Mythbusters type thing about reboarding. So reboarding Mythbusters. Luckily, with all of my chatting, she has flashed off. I'm going to show you the back because it's flatter. Let me see if I can get... No, that did not help. Ooh. Can y'all see how subtle that is? Like, it literally is barely there. You don't want a blue stripy baby. And now with that, that's all the blue that I'm going to do. Therefore, she will go into the oven. I use a New Wave or a Rosewill. I have both, one on either side of me. Maybe one of these Thursdays I'll give you a tour of my studio. But for now, you just have to trust me that they're there. Don't bake in your home oven. Make sure that it is... well ventilated. I have both my window, which is right beside me. I'm touching it. My window is open, and my door is open, and I have fans set up to push it outside. You may hear my fan blowing in the background. So make sure it's really well ventilated, and bake at 250 for 11 minutes, or at least that's what I do. I keep an oven thermometer in my ovens to make sure that I am at the right temperature, because your oven can sometimes go a little wonky and you don't want to melt your kit. Any other questions or anything that I can address today before I go? Get a drink of water. Okay, if we don't have any questions, everybody like, subscribe, check out my Facebook, my Instagram, so that your name can be entered several times. There's all different ways to do it. Comments on the videos also will get you an entry, not for a conversation, but each new, like a new comment on this one, then the following ones on this one don't count, but the one for your first comment does. Everyone have a wonderful day, and I'll see you Thursday.